Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're looking at a definitive, dignified blueprint for young men navigating that complex and honestly often perilous transition into adulthood. If you've ever wondered how boys actually learn to become men in a world that is just full of conflicting messages, well, This Explainer is going to map out exactly how we build that architecture. We're tackling the internal battles, those heavy societal pressures, and the actual practical steps required to construct a truly resilient identity. Our foundational guide for this journey is The Standard by Wesley. Carl's mission here is deeply resonant. He wants to reach young men before the world teaches them wrong. Drawing from his own experiences growing up in Houston, along with years in the classroom and mentoring, he noticed this tragic pattern. Boys are so often corrected only after the damage is already done, and they're ignored before the drift even begins. So this book, it isn't just a collection of theories, it's a socio-emotional intervention. It's designed to give guidance way before life's consequences step in as an unforgiving teacher. We're breaking this masterclass down into 5 key pillars. First, removing the Superman cape. Second, healing the thug within. Third, the 6th friend rule. Fourth, literacy as tactical weaponry. And finally, building your own kingdom. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, removing the Superman cape and unmasking performance. You see, before a young man can build something real, he really has to take off what's fake, and this brilliantly illustrates that contrast. So many guys today carry the exhausting weight of a false image. On one hand, we've got the human doing. Society basically teaches boys that strength is entirely about performance, status, and wearing this heavy Superman cape just to hide how exhausted they are. But psychological analysis shows this actually just leads to anxious attachment and a constant fear of losing status. Now, on the flip side, look at the human being, the comprehensive man. This is about true character. It's about inner peace and realizing that, honestly, the strongest men are often the calmest men. They're governed by principle, not by impulse. Moving on to Section 2, healing the thug within and unlearning survival. Moving from a human doing to a human being means we have to actually look at the internal battle. We have to unlearn these survival mechanisms that get mistakenly celebrated as actual strength. Returning to the core of The Standard, we're tackling a pretty heavy truth here. Survival is not wholeness. A lot of young men learn to survive by putting on a really hard exterior, but pain that goes unexamined totally distorts your identity. If you're just getting through it, you aren't truly living. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it completely reframes a highly toxic, charged word, thug. Here, it's actually an acronym for traumatized human unable to grieve. I mean, what a profound shift, right? It takes a label that's so often used to condemn and turns it into a clinical lens for healing. And this perfectly aligns with research on adverse childhood experiences. When a young boy is acting out, showing reactive aggression, or completely shutting down, it's usually just a state of survival mode. It's what the sources call an earthquake of emotions. The anger is just the epicenter you see up on the surface, but the hypercenter, the actual source deep down below, is grief, trauma, or just a total lack of emotional safety. You literally cannot discipline the pain out of a boy. You have to provide a safe space for him to grieve. They don't need more punishment, they need more love to heal. All right, Section 3, the 6th friend rule, protecting your circle. Once you start healing that internal foundation, you've got to protect it fiercely. So here's an unflinching question for you. If you have 5 lazy friends, who is the 6th? Yep, it's you. I challenge you to honestly evaluate your peer group right now. Psychological research completely backs this up. Environmental mirrors, the people you spend the most time with, are the primary drivers of your identity. Repeated exposure becomes instruction. If your circle makes growth feel lame, school feel pointless, and discipline feels somehow embarrassing, that environment is actively training your downfall. To combat this, you need some serious, actionable discipline to curate your influences. You have to audit your friends. Now, no spreadsheets required or anything, but definitely some hard choices. You've got to practice what's called the no and not now technique. Understanding that saying no to a distraction is a really powerful way of saying yes to your future. And seek out elders as mirrors. For example, the sources talk about oral history projects that pair at-risk youth with older mentors who survive the exact same challenges. This provides a real reflection of who they could become. Remember, a healthy inner circle values shared direction over mere entertainment. The crowd won't live with your consequences, so do not let them make your decisions. Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds into literacy as tactical weaponry. Education is protection. We are absolutely not talking about school as a chore here. We are framing education as a critical matter of survival. In The Standard, education is explicitly defined as protection. Think of it as the armor you wear out into the world.
Because if you can't read your world, you can't protect your future within it. Education demands the discipline to just keep showing up, even when frustration or embarrassment is telling you to turn away.
And here is a harsh statistical reality. Roughly 1/3, 1 in 3, 4th and 8th grade Black boys are reading below basic levels. When you lack proficiency in reading, you are significantly more likely to drop out or enter the justice system. You literally become an easy target for systemic disrespect. And without school connectedness and a sense of belonging, adolescents are just going to seek that belonging in unhealthy spaces that completely normalize chaos.
Just listen to this quote and really feel the conviction behind it. Literacy is a gateway skill and a form of protection. If a man cannot read a contract, he is effectively imprisoned by the interpretation of others. Wow, that is exactly why literacy is tactical weaponry. It's about freedom. It's about power. It's about not being taken advantage of, plain and simple. It's being able to understand the terms of your own life and lead yourself with absolute clarity. Which brings us to Section 5, Building Your Own Kingdom. Architecting your legacy.
So the crucial point is, what is all of this for? We've removed the false cape, addressed that deep trauma, curated our influences, and armed ourselves with education. Now you must take responsibility for your own world. Step 1, start messy. Don't suffer from a failure to launch just because you're waiting for the perfect moment. Take action on a passion right now because action is what reveals the next step. Step 2, lead yourself first. You've got to master the daily routine. If you say you're going to do something, show up and actually do it. Build self-trust before you go asking anyone else to follow you. And finally, aim for what the sources envision as the grandfather's den. Your ultimate legacy isn't just what you achieve for yourself. It's how you serve the next generation. It's becoming that steady, unshakable source of peace and stability for your family. Because the Standard is not just a book. It is a guide for young men before the world teaches them wrong. It provides the language, the emotional tools, and the rock-solid discipline needed to construct a life of real meaning, dignity, and purpose. It's a definitive blueprint for transformative masculinity. It teaches us that being a real man isn't about being feared. It's about being trusted. It's not about making a bunch of noise. It's about making a tangible difference. It's the whole journey, from personal healing all the way to establishing a generational legacy. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are you building a temporary performance for the crowd, or are you architecting a kingdom that will outlast you? The choices you repeat today are building the man you will be tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the Explainer.